Hi everybody, my name is Eric and I am from the Netherlands, and I am going to share with you an amazing prophetic message which happened which came to me, I should say, actually, through the audiobooks of the Hobbits. I'm calling it Operation Smaug because it has to do all with the it has to do with the dragon and the gold. And there's a lot of godly timing that happened while I was listening to the audiobooks this year. A little bit of background to explain why I'm making this, and as you can see, I'm pretty blind. My right eye, I'll open it a bit. It's a bit scary, perhaps. It's pretty wide. It's totally blind, but my left eye is also totally blind. That's why I'm holding to the mobile, so I got a little bit of focus. Otherwise I'll be looking here or there, or mostly looking down. I found out one of the videos I made lately, I was speaking like this, and I said, oh, wait, oh, I should be looking here. But I can't see it all. I'm totally blind. It's all gray and sometimes all black. But anyway, this is all about a prophetic message I got from the Lord, and He's been giving me doing some amazing things in my life, and I will also get to the Zechariah 14 thing that happened to me in 2019. I will get to that at the end, but first I want to talk about what happened to me. I've seen the films of the Lord of the Rings, the movies of the Lord of the Rings, and the Hobbit. I've seen them. I wasn't blind at that time. I got blind. I got a glaucoma. I don't know what the English word is. Something like glaucoma, I believe, on my eyes in 2014. My left eye was blind when I was already 30. No, sorry, I'm sorry. My right eye was blind when I was 30, about 30. And my left eye got the glaucoma. Both eyes got the glaucoma in 2014. And in 2018, I was getting worse. And in 2020, in the autumn 2020, I couldn't see anything anymore. I think 2018, I couldn't recognize my wife and my children anymore. But all this time, the Lord gave me peace and a lot. He built up my faith dramatically. Well, it's not a drama, but He gave me so much peace and so much joy and so much faith. I believe He is going to heal me. But that's got nothing to do with this message. But this message comes forth out of my relationship with God and with Jesus and with the Holy Spirit, who speaks to me. And He can speak through everyone. He wants to walk with everyone. So it's my personal relationship with God that has given me all the strength, all the peace, all the joy to keep on going, to not give up in this time of blindness. And I've never had any depression all these years. And he helped me to learn about the voiceover technique on the iPhone, and I can do a lot of things. I make these videos alone. No one helps me. I put them on my U channel alone. I had my U channel, of course, before I got blind, but I went to some call it rehabilitation, where they taught me how to work and use the voiceover technique for blind people on the iPhone. So I have my own Facebook, which I keep up to date. I have WhatsApp. I can call. I use mail. What else? I have Twitter account. So I can do a lot of amazing things, and things change. But I'm pretty technical. So I see the structures. I recognize the structures, and I'm able to do many great things with the iPhone. I got my keyboard, which I use, so I can find. I always wanted to learn how to type blind. Now I know how it works. But I'm gonna be healed, hallelujah, because God is good. And so if you like, you stick to my channel, you're gonna find out. I think it's gonna be pretty soon, by the way, because I had some amazing encounters. If you have time, you should watch the 8448 video that I made. It didn't happen at that point, but spiritually a lot of things happened from that point. But anyway, that's another story. Let me get back to this story about the Hobbit and about Smaug and about the gold and what's happening and what really happened and what does it mean. Now let me start what really happened. So I saw the movies before, and well, I'll back up a little bit. I lived in Canada when I moved to Canada. I'm now living in the Netherlands, and I was born in the Netherlands. I moved to Canada when I was 9, and I lived there until I was 15. And during that time, I think I was 14 or 15, I read The Lord of the Rings. And actually, when I was in grade 6, on an elementary school, and we lived in Battleford, Saskatchewan, in Canada. Our teacher read The Hobbit, and I was so amazed by that story. So that was the last time I read The Hobbit. So, and The Lord of the Rings, I think it was 15. Maybe I read partially later when I went back to Holland and I bought the Dutch books here. But I think I never had the time because I've been busy. So, but when I saw the movies, I actually wanted to read the books. And now that I was blind, I had a lot of time. So I thought to myself at a certain point, let me just go see if I can find an audiobook. And then I came across the audiobooks of Phil Dragas. Oh my goodness. They are amazing. They are like, it's just, they are so amazing. It's like you're listening 70 hours long with music, with sounds, with characters. Only then the true story. It was amazing. I listened to it twice already. But I didn't think of The Hobbit until this year. In the beginning of the year, it was around May, of course, I was thinking perhaps Phil Dragas also made a recording of The Hobbit. And he did, so I found it. I also made a beautiful playlist of The Hobbit, and I added 2 extra videos at the end with amazing unfinished tales, stories about how it all started, and kind of an interview with Gandalf. It's wow, really amazing. Great extra information about The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I loved it. Anyway, they're added to the playlist at the end, and so I started listening on May the 5th, and I didn't get it finished because there are 19 chapters and it's about 12 and a half hours, and so I continued listening to the audiobooks on May the 6th. Now I have to say something about May the 6th. I didn't, no. May the 6th was on a Monday. I checked that through checking my history on my YouTube channel because I didn't remember. I was reminded of this first amazing godly timing moment just a week ago on September the 21st when I listened to the audiobook for the second time. May the 6th was, and May the 5 and 6 was the first time. So I looked back because I thought it was longer ago. I thought I listened to the audiobook of The Hobbit for the first time in 2023, but it was not that long ago. It was in May. Now, I thought, I was sure it was a Monday, and I will tell you why it was on a Monday. I checked it, and May 6, 2024 was a Monday. On every Monday here in Holland, exactly at 12 noon, the first Monday of every month here in Holland, and this case was May 6th, the first Monday of the month. At 12 o'clock, the sirens go off. And Holland has been in a war before, and I believe since that time we have in every town we have sirens, and they are checked on every Monday at 12 o'clock. And we know when we hear the sirens, that's the way it goes. And it goes down and it goes up and goes down for about 1 or 2 minutes. So the sirens go off. Now, what happened that day, I was continuing my audiobook with The Hobbit, and at a certain point, the dragon, Smaug, leaves the lonely mountain. He was on his gold the whole time. Bilbo Baggins had stolen a cup. And the second time he came down to meet the dragon, he talked to the dragon. He saw that he had a very interesting conversation with the dragon. And then at the end he ran away. Of course he was invisible. People who know The Hobbit know that. But the dragon could smell him and could hear him, of course. But he couldn't see him. He had a magic ring. He found a magic ring. Bilbo found a magic ring during his journey with the dwarves to the Lonely Mountain. Because the dwarves wanted to get the gold back. They didn't know how to defeat the dragon, but it happened. They didn't defeat it. Someone else did. But you will hear that in a moment. But anyway, Bilbo saw in that conversation that the dragon missed one of his scales under his, I believe, his heart. One of the scales was missing. And but in this chapter 16, because I should say, Bilbo Baggins ran away at the end of the conversation, and Smaug was irritated, frustrated, mad. And he wanted revenge, so without the dwarves and Bilbo noticing, he left the Lonely Mountain and tried to destroy them from the outside. Anyway, after that, because of his conversation with Bilbo, he knew that Bilbo came from Laketown, where the people live, the normal people, the men of that time. So he was seeking revenge, and he went to Laketown. Chapter 14 is a story about where Smaug attacks Laketown. So in the beginning, you hear there's this guy in this town. His name is Bard. He's from kingly ascent. He's got king's blood. And he's a great archer. He saw Smaug coming. So the alarm bells, the sirens went off when they saw the dragon coming from a distance. Everybody got their archers, and everybody got the water in great vessels in case of fire. And of course there would be fire, because he would try to burn the houses down. So, but exactly at the time the sirens went off in the audiobook, within 2 seconds, the sirens went off in our town. And I was blown away. What is this? What? And I knew God was speaking. He was showing, he wanted to tell me something, show me something. Now, I believe I prayed for it. I don't remember, actually. I was astonished. I shared it with my wife. I went downstairs and shared it. I told her, well, you're not going to believe this. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, I probably went to the toilet. I see God saying, go. No, you can't go to the toilet. You got to start reading now, otherwise you're going to be too late. The timing was perfect. It was amazing. But anyway, I was thinking about it then, praying for it probably, but I don't remember much of that. But this whole event came back to me when I listened to the Hobbits for the second time, because even the second time on September the 21st, when it was spread over 2 days. On September the 21st, when I started for the second day in a row to listen to The Hobbit, exactly in the same chapter, chapter 14, something amazing happened again. Now, this one is not as amazing as the first time, but because of the amazing godly timing the first time, I immediately thought about the 6th of May again. This happened, the following happened on the 21st of September. I was listening, and we got to chapter 14, and the dragon came, the sirens went off, and they started shooting arrows, and the houses were burnt down, and Smaug was flying, and there was a lot of dismay because it wasn't working. The arrows were like flies. They couldn't penetrate the dragon's skin, the scales on his body. He was too mighty. Bart, the archer, had picked up his last arrow, the black arrow, a special arrow, who had never let him down, and he was about to shoot, and a bird came and sat on his shoulder and said, "Wait, wait." Bart was able. He didn't know. I believe, if I remember well, he didn't know he could understand birds, but this was a special bird, and in the some birds could speak to people, and some, well, it depends. I believe not every human could understand this bird, because Bilbo couldn't understand the bird, and the dwarves couldn't understand, but this bird heard the conversation between Bilbo and the dwarves when Bilbo told the dwarves about the scale missing under his breast. So this bird started to tell Bart about the scales. At least he wanted to. And we know how the story ends, because the dragon was shot by Bart and killed by Bart. But when the bird sat on his shoulder, he said, he shouted, "Wait, wait," and exactly at that moment, my mobile went dead. The power was off. There was a blackout, you could say. And I was, "What? No, not now, not at this moment." You're in the middle of excitement, and you're waiting, and it's gonna happen, and puff, blackout, it's over. And I was laughing, and I immediately attached it to the adapter, so the juice would be restored, of course. But I was thinking about this, and immediately I thought about the 6th of May. At least that I found out later it was the 6th of May. And I was thinking about it, and I said, this has to be a message. And I thought about the blackouts. There's been a lot of talk, because there's a lot going on in this world. There's a lot of evil going on. There is a deep state. There is a one world government. There are a lot of people sharing a lot of things about this, and I've been following that very closely, listening to it, especially also to a lot of prophets who have received amazing words from the Lord. What is going on and what is about to happen, and what the prophets are saying. I listen a lot personally to Julie Green and Johnny Enlow, Amanda Grace, and I listen a lot to Elijah Streams, to Derek Johnson, Dr. Scott Young, and I'll get back to Dr. Scott Young, Dr. Jan Helper Hayes. These last three people have brought a lot of information about what is really going on in America, what is really going on in the world, because it's what's happening in America has to do with the whole world. And so I heard about the QFS, Quantum Financial System, through Dr. Scott Young, and about Nasara. 1729. But Yeah, it's the 1st of October, by the way. Let me just record that.
1729, Tuesday, October 1st.
Yeah, October 1st. I usually do it at the beginning, but I want to put a mark on this as I remember. But anyway, I want to jump back a little bit. I'll get back to Dr. Scott and Nazara and the quantum financial system. What I wanted to say is some more about the dragon and the gold. So it reminded me of the blackout. I believe that the dragon was going to be killed. We know that. In the story, the dragon was about to be shot. Looking at the dragon, and the last week I was thinking, because this is not long ago, it's the 1st of October, and 2 weekends ago I had this amazing timing, godly timing, second godly timing moment. During the same book, same chapter, same dragon, same story. This is not a coincidence. I believe there is really a prophetic message God wants to give to us. I believe that during a blackout, an evil, corrupt financial system will be removed, destroyed, taken down, killed, you could almost say. Why? Because I believe the dragon Smaug had to do is actually the in this prophetic message represents the deep state that has been stealing from us, holding back our gold, stealing our gold, our finances, our jewels, everything, our riches, for more than 100 years. The dragon was sitting on the gold for more than 100 years. It stole it from the dwarves, from the men, from the elves, from the people. And there is a deep state and has been stealing the gold from us, holding it back and stealing our money through the banking system. That also has to do with the banking, with the taxes. There is a deep, evil, corrupt system, financial system, and that will be taken down during the blackout. I believe the quantum financial system is a system that will set us free from the taxes, set us free from the banking. The banks will not be able to see how much money we have, what we are doing with our finances, what we have on our bank account. It's going to be a totally different system. That is already in place in the banking, in the banks, and it's going to be activated during this blackout. There has been a lot going on for many years since Trump is in office, since 2017, because he was called by God for this, to do this. And some of you might not believe this, but that's okay. I'm just sharing my story about this anyway. So there's a lot of resemblance between what is going on and this dragon who is about to be killed. Am I forgetting anything? Oh yeah, there's something else. 14. Twice and this whole incident had to do with 14. I looked up what the meaning of 14 in the Hebrew in the Bible, and it means redemption and salvation. Well, this whole thing has to do with redemption, setting us free of this evil, financial, corrupt system. And there was something else am I forgetting any? There was something else, Zechariah 14, that I want to also share with you. And this, I received this on Sunday. I made the 3 videos in Dutch. I made 3 videos in Dutch on Sunday about this whole event. And before I made the 3rd one, I wasn't actually going to make a 3rd one, but I was just going to share chapter 14 of the audiobook. But something came to me that made me change my mind and make a third video. And it has to do with an amazing event I had. And well, it's not really an event. I don't know how to explain it. What's the exactly word? A godly experience. Yeah, it was an experience I had on July the 29th, 2019, before COVID started. On that summer day, it was very hot. It was above 30 degrees. We had a small swimming pool in our garden, and my wife and I and one of my sons was sitting with our feet in the pool. And at a certain time, it was in the evening. At a certain time, my wife said, "Oh, we're going inside," and I was like, "Okay, then I'll empty the swimming pool with 2 buckets, and I will give the plants some water." And at that time, it was 2019. I couldn't recognize anyone anymore, but everything was blurry, but I could still manage to find my way in the garden without bumping my head or stuff like that. I knew where everything was, and I could find everything, and so that was okay. A lot of things I couldn't do, but that I could do. So I was doing that. But there was something really amazing going on at that point. It took me some while. What I didn't know was my wife and my son went inside because it was getting dark. I didn't experience any darkness. Now, this sounds very strange to you, I can imagine, but I had no idea that it was getting dark. I had no idea it was night. I went outside and I opened the gate and I looked up and I saw kind of silverish or metal shields that reflected the sun in the sky to the east. That was on that side of my house. This is the front, this is the south. So in that way was my gate. I went out side of the gate and then go to my front garden. This is the front of the house where the front garden is. I saw shields there, and there are buildings here in front of us. And then I looked that way to the south. There were shields there, and then I looked towards the facade of our house. That was the north, looking to the north. There were again shields, and I was thinking or saying out loud, I don't remember, man, the sun is shining bright during this noon. I had the idea it was midday, 12 o'clock noon. That was what I thought. And I was just going back and forth, It took me more than a half hour, I think. And meanwhile, my wife, at a certain point, was looking at the back of our house into the garden, looking at me because it was dark already. She was like, how can you do this? She was getting kind of worried. When I was finished, I went inside, and that's when I saw what was going on. Because it was, how do you say that, schemerig? It was kind of dark in our living room, and the lights were on. And then my mind was blown away, because it came to me what really happened. Then I finally recognized the strangeness of what I saw. I was blown away. I was so blown away. It was, when thinking about it, it was the most amazing thing. It was also a sign. I didn't know at that moment what it meant. 5 minutes later, we went outside to walk with the dog because it was already late, and it was just, as we say, pitch dark. No pitch, just totally dark. No more lights. And that whole night I was thinking about this, praising God, but not knowing for what. But the next day I got the answer. At that time I was listening to the Bible through Bible Gateway, and every time he remembers where I left off the day before. And I was in Matthew, first chapter. I've remembered I remember this very well because this was very essential, what happened at that moment. I was in Matthew, but he jumped back to the prophets in the Old Testament. And I was like, Well, okay. Well, could be interesting. Let's listen to the prophets. I was listening. I think it was something like Zephaniah. Zephaniah is a Dutch word. I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and Zechariah 13. And it didn't take long, and it jumped over to Zechariah 14. And I was listening and listening, and then in verse 7 I heard, when the evening comes, there was light. Bam! And it came to me. I was like, oh my goodness, what is this, Lord? What is the meaning of this? But immediately I thought, okay, what happens, what is told after 7, after this verse 7, is the time where we're in now. A little moment, my wife is calling. I'll be right back. Ja, ik ben even inspreken hoor, moment. Sorry for the delay, but it's a natural thing. We're going to eat. It's almost eating time. Dinner time here in Holland. So I think it's 17:30. But I gotta finish this story. Oh yeah, I thought, okay, so the rest of the story is about telling us what time we are. And I'll leave that up to you to check that out for yourself, Zechariah 14. But there was something with verse. I knew there was a verse in that chapter that was about the gold. If you read it, I encourage you to read it, by the way, Zechariah 14, because it tells about what we are about to experience here also. The enemy, the deep state, is going to turn against each other and destroy each other. That's what also this chapter also speaks about. It's about, I think, the verse 11 or 12, 13, something like that. But there is a verse that talks about the gold. The gold and the silver of these evil people will also go to the righteous. One verse. So last Sunday, I had this feeling inside of me. I had to go and check out Zechariah 14, check out where this verse about the gold and the silver, which verse that is. And I had the feeling it was verse 14. So I checked it out, and indeed it was verse 14. And I was like, oh my goodness. This again fits exactly the whole story that I just shared with you. And it made it even stronger, because it shows once again the time we are in. The gold and the silver of the wicked is going to the righteous. And again, twice the number 14 as chapter 14. This is all not a coincidence. All these things that fit exactly together is not a coincidence. So I think that's about it. Did I forget anything? No, I think that was the story I wanted to share with you. So, oh wait, no. Well, yeah, it's what I still wanted to say is that it's all about the financial system that is going to be taken down. And I encourage you also to listen to the videos of Dr. Scott Young about Nazara, because this is exactly what he's talking about. Through this quantum financial system, we will be set free of the banking, the taxes, and the quantum financial system, by the way, is backed by gold. Our current system is not backed by gold. We are there. The banks are just printing air. They're just selling us air. Nothing. It's empty. That's since 1973, I believe. They did this. They stopped the gold back currency. I think they call it that. Anyway, to stop the backing of gold. I don't know exactly how to say that, but anyway, it's gonna be great. I hope I was able to get the message to you. Again, I encourage you to check out these people, Dr. Scott Young, Derek Johnson, Dr. Jan Helper Hayes. They will show you a lot about what is going on in this world and what is about to happen. And it's I can say one thing, it's going to be beautiful. We're going to be so free. The dragon is going to be killed. And as the story in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, the evil just is going to be destroyed totally. We are going to an amazing time. We are going to be set free of all these things that are happening worldwide. And there's it's going to be truly amazing. So God bless you, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and perhaps we will see you again on the next video. Bye bye.